Hello friends, welcome to GMG accountancy classes. In today's class, we are going to discuss about 12th accountancy theory. Lesson 1, accounts from incomplete records. Very short answers. What is meant by incomplete records? When accounting records are not strictly maintained according to double entry system, these records are called incomplete records. Incomplete accounting records. Generally, cash account and the personal accounts of customers and creditors are maintained fully, and other accounts are maintained based on necessity. Second question, state the accounts generally maintained by small size sole trader when double entry accounting system is not followed. Generally, cash account and the personal account of customers and creditors are maintained fully, and other accounts are maintained based on necessity. Third very short answer, what is statement of affairs? A statement of affairs is a system showing the balance of assets and liabilities on a particular date. The statement resembles a balance sheet. The difference between the total of assets and total of liability is taken as capital. The formula of capital is capital equal to assets minus liabilities. Now we move on to short answers. What are the features of incomplete records? Nature. It is an unscientific and unsystematic way of recording transaction. Accounting principles and accounting standards are not followed properly. Which type of account it is? The type of accounts maintained. In generally, only cash and personal accounts are maintained fully. Real account and nominal accounts are not maintained properly. Some transactions are completely omitted. Next point, lack of uniformity. This is uniformity in recording the transaction among different organizations. Different organizations record their transaction according to their needs and convenience. Financial statement may not represent true and fair view. Due to the incomplete information and inaccurate records of accounts, the profit or loss calculated from these records cannot be relied upon. It may not represent true profitability. Assets and liabilities may not represent a true and fair view of financial position. So by seeing this account, we cannot identify the true picture of the business. Suitability. Fifth point. Only the business concerns which have no legal obligation to maintain books of accounts under double entry system may maintain incomplete records. Hence, it may be maintained by small size sole traders and partnership firms. Sixth point, mixing up of personal and business transactions. Generally, personal transaction of the owners are mixed up with the business transaction. For example, purchase of goods for own use may be mixed up along with business purchases. That's why we cannot identify the true picture of the business. Move on to second question. What are the limitations of incomplete records? Lack of proper maintenance of records. It is an unscientific and unsystematic way of maintaining records. Real and nominal accounts are not maintained properly. Second point, Difficulty in preparing a trial balance. As accounts are not maintained for all items, the accounting records are incomplete. Hence, it is difficult to prepare the trial balance to check the arithmetical accuracy of the accounts. Difficulties in ascertaining true profitability of the business. Profit is found out based on available information and estimates. Hence, it is difficult to ascertain true profit as a trading and profit and loss account cannot be prepared with accuracy. Fourth point, difficulty in ascertaining financial position. In general, only the estimated value of assets and liabilities are available from incomplete records. Hence, it is difficult to ascertain true and fair view of state of affairs or financial position as on particular date. Fifth point, errors and frauds cannot be detected easily. As only partial records are available, it may not be possible to have internal checks in maintaining accounts to detect errors and frauds. Unacceptable to government and other authorities. As accounts maintained are incomplete, this may not comply with the legal requirements. Hence, government tax authorities and other legal authorities do not accept account prepared from incomplete records. Now move on to third question. State the difference between double entry system and incomplete records. On the basis of distinction, double entry system, incomplete records. First point, recording of transactions. Both debit and credit aspects of all the transactions are recorded. Incomplete records, debit and credit aspects of all transactions are not recorded completely. For some transaction, both aspects are entered. Some transactions are partially recorded and some transactions are omitted to be entered. Next point, types of accounts maintained. Personal, real and nominal accounts are maintained fully. In general, only personal and cash accounts are maintained fully. Real and nominal accounts are not maintained fully. Preparation of trial balance. Trial balance can be prepared to check the arithmetical accuracy of the entries made in the books of accounts. It is difficult to prepare the trial balance to check arithmetic accuracy of entries made in the books of accounts as the accounts are incomplete. Next point, determination of true profit or loss. Trading and profit and loss account can be prepared to find out the true profit or loss. Trading and profit and loss account cannot be prepared with accuracy as complete information is not available and hence profit or loss found out may not be accurate. Next point, determination of financial position. Balance sheet can be prepared to know the true financial position. Balance sheet cannot be prepared with accuracy and true financial position cannot be ascertained. As the assets and liabilities are just estimates and incomplete. Suitability. It is suitable for all types of organization. It may be suitable for small size sole traders and partnership firms. Reliability. It is reliable since it is a scientific system of accounting and is based on certain accounting principle. It is not reliable since it is unscientific. Acceptability. Accounting records are acceptable to all users, including tax authorities and financial institutions. Accounting records may not be acceptable to all users. So this is the difference between, so any 5 points or 6 points you write it for 5 marks. So 6 points you write it word to word. Okay. Next, state the procedure. State the procedure for calculating profit or loss through statement of affairs. Following are the steps to be followed to find out the profit or loss when a statement of affairs is prepared. Ascertain the opening capital by preparing a statement of affairs at the beginning of the year by taking the opening balance of assets and liabilities. Ascertain the closing capital by preparing a statement of affairs at the end of the accounting period. After making all adjustments such as depreciation, bad debts, outstanding and prepaid expenses, outstanding income, interest on drawing, etc. Add the amount of drawings both in cash and in kind to the closing capital. Deduct the amount of additional capital introduced to get adjusted closing capital. Next, ascertain profit or loss by subtracting opening capital from the adjusted closing capital. If adjusted closing capital is more than the opening capital, it denotes profit. If adjusted closing capital is lesser than the opening capital, it denotes loss. From the following format is used to find out the profit or loss. Statement of profit or loss for the year ended. This is the format. Capital at the end. Add drawings less additional capital introduced during the year. Adjusted closing capital less opening capital. Profit or loss for the year. So this is how you are calculating the profit or loss. Next point, difference between statement of affairs and balance sheet. First point, objective. Statement of affairs is generally prepared to find out the capital of the business. Balance sheet is prepared to ascertain the financial position of the business. Accounting system. Statement of affairs is prepared when double entry system is not strictly followed. Balance sheet is prepared when accounts are maintained under double entry system. Third point, basis of preparation. It is not fully based on ledger balances. Wherever possible, ledger balances are taken. Some items are taken from some source documents and some items are mere estimates. It is prepared exclusively on the basis of ledger balances. Reliability. It is not reliable as it is based on incomplete records. It is reliable. It is prepared under double entry system. Missing items. It is difficult to trace the items omitted as complete records are not maintained. Since both the aspects of all transactions are duly recorded, items omitted can be traced easily. Next point, how is the amount of credit sale ascertained from incomplete records? So this is the formula to find out the credit sales. So we are preparing the total debtors account. To balance brought down means opening balance. To sales account in bracket credit sales. To bank account check dishonored. To bills receivable account bills dishonored. By cash account received. By bank account check received. By discount allowed. By sales return. By bad debts. By bills receivable account bills received. By balance carried on closing balance of the debtors. Next, move on to second lesson, unit 2. So chapter 2, accounts of not-for-profit organization. Move on to very short answer. State the meaning of not-for-profit organization. Some organizations are established for the purpose of rendering services to the public without any profit motive. They may be created for the promotion of art, culture, education, sports, etc. These organizations are called not-for-profit organization. So, not-for-profit organization means they are providing services. What is receipts and payment account? Receipts and payment account is a summary of cash. Receipts and payment account is a summary cash and bank transaction of not-for-profit organization prepared at the end of each financial year. It is a real account in nature. It is real account in nature. The receipts and payments accounts begins with the opening balance of cash and bank and end with the closing balance of cash and bank. All cash receipts are shown on the debit side and all cash payments are shown on the credit side of this account. What is legacy? A gift made to a not-for-profit organization by a will is called legacy. It is a capital receipt. It is shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. So legacy is a capital receipt. It is like a donation. Next, write a short note on life membership fees. Amount received towards the life membership fees from members is a capital receipt as it is non-recurring in nature. It is entered in the liability side of the balance sheet. So membership fees we are writing in the liability side and it is a capital receipt in capital receipt. It's a non-recurring in nature. Next, give 4 examples of capital receipt of not-for-profit organization. Life membership fees, legacies, sale of fixed asset, tournament fund, prize fund, special fund, etc. Now move on to 6th answer. Give 4 examples for revenue receipts of not-for-profit organization. Subscription, interest on investment, interest on fixed deposit, sale of old sports materials, sale of old newspapers. Now, first question, what is income and expenditure account? Income and expenditure account is a summary of income and expenditure. Income and expenditure account is a summary of income and expenditure of a not for profit organization, prepared at the end of accounting year. It is prepared to find out the surplus or deficit pertaining to a particular year. It is a nominal account in nature, in which items of revenue receipts and revenue expenditure relating to the current year alone are recorded. It is prepared following the accrual basis of accounting. It is just like preparing a profit and loss account. Move on to next question. Second question, state the difference between receipts and payment account and income and expenditure account. So difference between receipts payment and income expenditure. Very important 5 marks theory. Purpose. It is prepared to know the cash receipts and cash payments. It is prepared to know whether there is an excess of income over expenditure, surplus, or an excess of expenditure over income, deficit during the current period. Next point, nature of account. It is real account. It is summary of cash account. Cash receipts are recorded on the debit side and cash payments are recorded on the credit side. But income and expenditure account is a nominal account. It is similar to profit and loss account. Expenditures are recorded on the debit side and income are recorded in the credit side. Basis of accounting. It is based on cash system of accounting. Non-cash items are not recorded. It is based on accrual system of accounting. Non-cash items like outstanding expenses, depreciations, etc. are also recorded. Opening and closing balance. It commences with an opening balance of cash and bank and ends with the closing balance of cash and bank. There is no opening balance. It ends with surplus or deficit. So it ends with profit or loss. Nature of items. It contains actual receipts and payments irrespective of revenue or capital items in nature. It contains only revenue items, that is, only revenue expenses and revenue incomes. Period. All cash receipts and payments made during the year pertaining to the past period, current period and subsequent period are recorded. It contains only the items relating to the current period. Now, third question. How annual subscription is dealt within the final account of not-for-profit organization. Treatment of subscription in the final accounts of not-for-profit organization. Treatment in income and expenditure account. When subscription received for the current year, previous year and subsequent period are given separately, subscription received for the current year will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account after making the adjustments given below. Subscription outstanding for the current year is to be added. So outstanding subscription should be added. Subscription received in advance in the previous year, which is meant for the current year, it's to be added. When total subscription received during the current year is given, that total subscription received during the current year will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account after making the following adjustments. Subscription outstanding in the previous year, which is received in the current year, will be subtracted. Subscription outstanding for the current year is added. Subscription received in advance in the previous year, which is meant for the current year, is added, and subscription received in advance in the current year, which is meant for the subsequent year, must be subtracted. So, this is the format. Next one, treatment in balance sheet. Subscription outstanding for the current year and still outstanding for the previous year will be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. Subscription received in advance in the current year will be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. See, this is the format. Income and expenditure account for the year ended. You have to write in the income side by subscription, less subscription for the previous year and less subscription for the subsequent year. Subsequent means next year. Add outstanding subscription for the current year. Add received in advance during the previous year for the current year. Now move on to balance sheet. In liability side, subscription received in advance for the subsequent year we have to write. And asset side, outstanding subscription for the current year and the previous year, both we have to write in the asset side. Now move on to fourth question. How the following items are dealt with in the final accounts of not-for-profit organization. Sale of sports material, life membership fees, tournament fund. Treatment of consumable items such as sports materials. Consumable items such as sports materials, stationery, medicines, etc. Consumed during the year will appear on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Consumption equal to opening stock plus purchases during the current year minus closing stock. Closing stock will appear on the asset side of the balance sheet at the end of the year. Fourth point, if there is a sale of old sport materials, etc., old sports material, that will be shown on the credit side of income and expenditure account or can be subtracted less from the respective items consumed on the debit side of income and expenditure account. Now move on to next point, life membership fees. Amount received towards life membership fees from the members is a capital receipt. As it is non-recurring in nature, it is entered in the liability side of the balance sheet. Treatment of income and excess pertaining to specific funds. Specific fund to be shown on the side and specific fund investment account is to be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet. Income and expenses relating to the specific fund account should not be recorded in income and expenditure account. Income relating to the fund should be added to the fund account and expenses relating to the fund should be subtracted from the fund account in the balance sheet as at the end of accounting year. If interest is accrued on the specific fund investments for the current year, then it should be added along with the fund accounts on the liability side and should also be shown on the asset side of the balance sheet as accrued interest on investments.